Hello again everyone and welcome back to the Weather Centre. All eyes are on the major winter storm that's going to be impacting South Africa tomorrow, and it's already having an effect on the country in the form of berg winds, which have pushed temperatures into the 30s today for some areas, mostly along the southern coastline. Very windy conditions developed this afternoon for parts of the northern, western and eastern Cape, with wind gusts over 70 kilometers per hour for some areas. We can see the band of cloud that's showing us where the cold front is currently located. It's rapidly approaching our western coastline. But if we look further out into the South Atlantic, we can really see the bulk of the storm, the low pressure system taking shape quite far to the south at the moment. And very importantly, there's also a high pressure system following close behind it. Between these two systems, very cold polar air is squeezing between the two of them and is curving to the north of that low towards South Africa. And we're going to be feeling the bite of that wind over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at tonight's weather conditions. And as the front approaches, cloud and rain is going to start pushing in along the west coast of South Africa, along with gale force winds expected overnight. As we head into tomorrow, those conditions continue to worsen. More rain in the forecast and extremely windy weather expected for much of the Cape provinces, with wind speeds over 80 kilometers per hour for some areas along the southwest coast of South Africa. Along with that, it remains very wet. Snow settles in for the mountainous areas and a massive swell is expected for the Atlantic coast of the country. One alert has been issued for tonight. That's for the gale force winds, which will be starting up late this evening for some areas along the west coast of South Africa. And as we've already seen, those conditions are going to get worse as we get into tomorrow. For tonight, scattered to widespread rain in the forecast for the western coastline. That starts pushing further inland overnight and into the early hours of Wednesday. Cape Town, you have an 80% chance for rain. That will start up very late this evening. Let's move ahead now to a detailed forecast in terms of the swells expected with the system. This is going to be a major factor. We are expecting big swells in excess of 5 meters to start reaching the coastline early on Wednesday morning, but by afternoon, 10 to 12 meter swells possible in places. These are potentially destructive swells that are on the forecast for this area, so it is a very serious situation over that area. Those big swells late on Wednesday spread along the southern coastline. At the same time, things start to ease off in the west, and by Thursday, we're going to have the really big swells along the south coast, over the eastern Cape coastal areas, and perhaps even reaching the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal. Let's take a look at your minimum temperatures, and it remains quite mild in the west overnight. Windy weather already in place, keeping temperatures above 10 degrees for many areas, and a berg wind resulting in very warm conditions overnight for parts of the eastern Cape. Those berg winds cause temperatures to reach the upper 20s and low 30s along the eastern coastline, in vast contrast to the western parts of South Africa. The cold front already keeping temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius for Springbok as well as Sutherland, Cape Town with a high of only 15. On Thursday, it's going to be very cold over the western high ground. Sutherland, 3 degrees Celsius. We are expecting snow in your area. We're going to see a drop in temperature for Gauteng as well, 16 degrees as a high. And as we head into Friday, things start to recover over the western parts of the country. It's going to be dry for South Africa, but a very frosty morning lies ahead for the Highveld.